Nija Unmada, that is Nija Unmada having involvement of dosha, and Agandu Unmada is an external cause where we cannot find a logical connection between dosha and disease. While discussing in Sushruta Samhita, Unmada is mentioned where another chapter is mentioned as Amanusha Upasarga Pratishedha, where Amanusha Upasarga, that is supernatural power or superstitious causes of Unmada are mentioned. In Ashtanga Hridaya also Unmada Chikilsa and Bhuda Unmada are different, but Charaka Samhita included in same chapter under different headings. So we move on to the details of Unmada. Unmada, without understanding the etiology and symptomatology of Unmada, it's difficult to treat Unmada. So we will see how to differentiate different Unmada, how to understand Unmada, and how we can diagnose Unmada. Unmada, in general, as we told, it is the all main mental disorders are generally grouped under or mentioned under the heading Unmada. And one more thing is Manovaha Srotas is mentioned, and that Manovaha Srotas, the Hridaya is considered as the Moolasthana of Manovaha Srotas, and Dhamman is arising from Hridaya or considered as Manovaha Srotas. But in practical aspect, all the thought process and related with thought and thought abnormalities can be considered as a functional entity. Manovaha Srotas can be considered as a functional entity. There cannot be a anatomical description. That is in practical view. Most elaborate explanation is given in Charaka Samhita, as I told, and in Ashtanga Hridaya and Susruta considered in different view. That is, Dosha Unmada is considered under Kaya Chikitsa, and Bhuda Unmada is considered under Bhuda Vidya, and those are different in the opinion of Ashtanga Hridaya and Susruta Samhita. It's very difficult in modern psychiatry also. It's very difficult to name a disease, psychiatric disease. Every time classification of psychiatric disorders are changing. DSM-4 is different from, sorry, DSM-5 is different from DSM-4, modern psychiatric classification. But Ayurveda classification, I feel it is everlasting, and we can include almost all diseases under any of the headings in our classification. So it will be a precise and a very specific classification technique used in Ayurveda psychiatry. And correlation, one-to-one correlation also is very difficult in, especially in case of Unmada. We can see what is Unmada. Unmado nama manaso doshe unmargage mataha. Unmada is the Unmarga Gamana of dosha, especially Manodosha, specifically Manodosha. Manodosha, Rajas and Tamas. Those two Manodoshas are getting vitiated and they're functionally imbalanced, and it causes Unmada. Classification of Unmada are different in different classics. In Ashtanga Hridaya, this is mentioned like this: 6 types: Vada, Pitta, Kapha, Sannipada. That is 4. Then Manodukhaja and Vishaja. The same is in Sushruta Samhita also: Vada, Pitta, Kapha, Sannipada, Manodukhaja and Vishaja. But while we see to Charaka Samhita, in Charaka Nidana, 5 type Unmada is mentioned: Vada, Pitta, Kapha, Sannipada and Aganduja. Manodukhaja and Vishaja are not mentioned here. And Manodukhaja and Vishaja can be included under Agantuja Unmada. While in Charaka Samhita, Chikitsasthana, there are broadly two, Nija and Agantuja Unmada. Nija Unmada and Agantuja Unmada. So these Nija Unmada can again classify under a different dosha predominance, and Agantuja Unmada can be classified according to symptomatology. Always Agantuja Unmada are classified on the basis of symptomatology, because we cannot find a logical connection between etiology, pathology, and the expression of symptoms in Agantuja Unmada. So, very clearly, and for a very clear understanding, our acharyas have mentioned this different type of agantuja unmada according to the symptoms, nature of symptoms. For example, a patient showing the symptoms like a gandharva, it is termed as gandharva unmada. Characteristics of pishacha, that is termed as pishacha unmada. Likewise, the terminology is used in denoting the different types of agantuja unmada in our classics. Another definition included in Charaka Samhita, that is Unmadam Punar Mano Buddhi Sapnyajnana Smriti Bhakti Sheela Cheshta Achara Vibramam Vidyat. That is mentioned in Charaka Samhita. Unmadam Punar 8 Vibhrama. Unmadam Punar Buddhi Sapnya Jnana Smriti Bhakti Sheela Cheshta Achara Vibramam Vidya. That is mentioned in Charaka Samhita Nidana Sthana Unmada Nidana. 8 type of Vibhrama are mentioned. These 8 type of Vibhrama constitute Unmada. Any of this Vibhrama present, we can diagnose it as Unmada. But Mano Vibhrama will be present in all type of Unmada. Mano Vibhrama is an inability to control the mind. Chindyan arthan na chindyade, achindyascha chindyade. That is inability to control mind is Mano Vibhrama. Buddhi Vibhrama is inability to differentiate true and false. Sapnya Vibhrama, Sapnya Jnanam, Tad Vibhramat, Agnyadi Daham na Buddhyade. That is, the terminologies are not differentiated, and also the consciousness. Sapnya Agnyadi Daham na Buddhyade, in the sense, the consciousness. Sapnya denotes here the consciousness. Then Smriti Vibhrama. Then next is Smriti Vibhrama. Smriti Vibhramadu na Smriti ayathavat pa Smriti. Difficult to recollect the memory. Difficult to recollect or wrongly recollecting the memory comes under Smriti Vibhrama. Buddhi, Smriti, Bhakti Vibhrama. Next is Bhakti Vibhrama. Bhakti is altered likings. Previously, before the disease or in pre-morbid conditions, patient might have some likes and dislikes, and that will be different in the morbid condition or in the diseased condition. That is called as Bhakti Vibhrama. Next is Sheela Vibhrama. Sheela Vibhrama is Akrodhanaha Krodhano Bhavati. The characteristic feature or the character or behavior of the person is changed during the manifestation of disease. That is included in Sheela Vibhrama. Cheshta Vibhrama. Cheshta is abnormal psychomotor activities included in Cheshta Vibhrama. The last one is Achara Vibhrama. Achara Vibhrama is whatever achara or whatever the Sheela which is learned from the childhood or from the parents or from the society, that will be affected. For example, the person was very clean and hygiene in his previous condition, that is pre-morbid condition, and the hygiene, he will not have any hygienic routines after getting affected by the disease, that is Achara Vibhrama. So these 8 Vibhrama are important in terms of Unmada, that is mentioned in Charaka Samhita Nidana Sthana. If a person may have all the 8 type of Vibhrama, or patient may be having any of the 1 or 2 or 3 Vibhrama in this. So while examining a psychiatric patient, we need to understand, we need to find out which all Vibhrama are affected. That is very important in terms of Sattva Avajaya Chikitsa. While we applying Sattva Avajaya Chikitsa, we should have a clear idea about the Vibhrama. What are the Vibhrama they are having? And we should focus on those Vibhrama and correct it. Then when moving on to the Samprapti, Nidana Samprapti, Sharira Manasir Dushtir Ahidad Annapanadaha Vikrita Asatmya Samadat Vishamad Upayogadaha. The diet and this routine, the diet and our habits, ahara and vihara, are can cause unmada, especially those all dosha dushti can be a cause for unmada. Whatever the food, whatever the regimen we are following, if which is causing the dosha dushti, that can be a nidana for or etiology for unmada, especially for those who are having very weak mind. Vishannasya alpasatvasya vyadhi vega samudbramat. Vishannasya alpasattvasya. Those who are having any disease, depressed mind, alpasatva, very weak mind, vyadhi vega samudbramat. That or weak or affected with any other diseases, especially the chronic diseases like chronic degenerative disorders, the cancer, or incurable diseases, those who are affecting with, and they are very prone to get unmada when they are exposing to the nidana. Shinasya cheshta vaishamyat pujya puja vyatikramat adhibis chitta vibramsat vishena upavishena cha. Shinasya cheshta vikshena, that is, as I mentioned earlier, weak person. Cheshta vaishamyat, abnormal activities. Pujya puja vyatikramat, disrespect towards the respectable or respectful persons, that also can be a cause for unmada. This is also mentioned as a purva rupa. Pujya puja vyatikrama is also mentioned as a purva rupa in unmada. Adhibi chitta vibramshat vishena upavishena cha. Adhibi chitta vibramshat. Any kind of psychological trauma imbalance can cause this unmada. Vishena upavishena cha. Toxic substances can cause unmada. We have seen in the classification of unmada that uh, Vishaja unmada is a type of unmada. So Visha can be a cause for unmada. Toxic substances can create some problems with the brain, and that can be a cause for psychiatric disorders. It's a very common cause for psychiatric disorders, especially some poisonous substances, abuse of drugs, and long-term use of some medicines, or improper usage of medicines. Those can be included under this type of nidana. Ebirhi hina sattvasya hridi dosha pradushita. Likewise, hina sattva person mind will be hridi dosha pradushita, will be affected. Hridi dosha here, hridaya is considered as the moolasthana of manovahasrodhas, and that's why hridi dosha pradushita mentioned here. Theo pithaya kalushyam. Theo pithaya, obstruct the dhi. He is the intellect and decision making, and Theo pithaya kalushyam hatva margan manovahan. It obstructs the manovahasrodhas. As I told earlier, Manovahasrodhas can be considered as a functional entity, not merely a structural. We cannot find a structural entity as Manovahasrodhas. It can be a functional entity, and those functional aspects are blocked. That is why it is mentioned as mano hatva margan manohan. Manover's road is obstructed. Unmadam kurvadedena dhi vijnana smriti brahmat. That those person will get affected by unmada, and dhi vijnana smriti brahma will be seen in that patient. Deha dukkha sukha prashto prashtha saradhivat radaha. That is very important in a case of unmada. Prashtha saradhivat radaha. A chariot without a controller. That is a vehicle without a driver. Likewise, the person will become prashta saradhivat. There will not be saradhi in that ratha, so the ratha will be going without any control. You can assume, you can imagine a vehicle without a driver. What will happen? What will be the fate of that vehicle or the travel? Similar way, the person will be affected by the disease. That is the Samprapti mentioned here in the Unmada. This is mentioned in Ashtanga Hridaya Uttarasthana. This sloka is reference from Ashtanga Hridaya Uttarasthana. You can see this, some examples, some of the points I have grouped here. Ahara factor, Viharaja and Manasika, you can group. And the different Nidana mentioned in Ashtanga Hridaya Charaka can be uh, dropped under these three headings. Charaka explains that Bhirunam Upaklishta Sattvanam. Bhiru and Upaklishta Sattva. That is mentioned same in previous sloka in Ashtanga Hridaya. That Vishannasya Alpa Sattvasya. The same way, Bhirunam Upaklishta Sattvanam. Samala Vikrita Upahitani. Or already the vitiated dosha or the causative factors for vitiating the dosha. Dosha vitiation, that also can be a cause. Anuchita ahara. Anuchita ahara. Anuchita ahara is improper diet habit, that already mentioned. These points I am mentioning from Charaka Samhita, Nidanasthana. Vaishamyuktena upayoga vidhina upayunjananam tantra prayogamabi vishamamacharadam. Tantra prayogamabi vishamamacharadam. This is an additional point mentioned in Charaka Samhita. Tantra prayoga, the adharvana kriya. Those who are practicing tantra prayoga, tantra vidya or adharvana kriya, improper administration or improper administration of adharvana kriya can be a cause for unmada. That is abhijara, etc. are mentioned, or we can see in our epics. Likewise, those kriya, those karma, if we perform improperly, that can also affect the person that can lead to unmada. Okay. Then tantra prayogam, then sharira cheshta vishamada. Sharira cheshta vishamada, improper body activities, and vyadhi vega samudhanam. That is any other diseases, affected with any other diseases. And very importantly, manasamba kama krodha lobha harsha bhaya moha ayasa shoga chinta udvegaditihi. The emotional factors very detailedly enlisted, very clearly enlisted in Charaka Nidana Sthana as a cause for Unmada Nidana, as a cause for Unmada. Clearly enlisted, that emotional factors are very clearly enlisted here. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Harsha, Bhaya, Moha, Ayasa, Shoka, Chinta, Udvegaditihi. Those are the emotional factors in our life. If these emotional factors are not controlled properly, that can cause unmada. That is, adharaniya vega we have seen. Adharaniya vega, if we suppress those vega, that can cause diseases. Similar way, there are dharaniya vega. Dharaniya vega should be controlled, not to suppress, should be controlled. Dharana is to control. Those dharaniya vega are this specifically the emotional factors. If we are unable to control our emotions, that can lead to unmada. And psychological trauma, puna puna abhigado, manasyupahade, the repeated psychological trauma in a person's life since childhood, and repeatedly the person is affected with psychological trauma, that also can cause unmada. And then manovahani srodamsi avritya janaityunmadam, Charaka says. Manovahani srodamsi avritya janaityunmadam. Manova srotas is affected and or obstructed, and thereby it is leading to unmada. Very short way, very concise in precise form in Charaka Chikilsasana, Acharya explained that Viruddha Dushta Shuchi Bhojanani Prakharshanam Deva Gurudvijanam Unmada Hedu Bhaya Harshapurvo Mano Abhighado Vishamasya Cheshta. Very simply, in two lines, one sloka, Charaka Chikilsa mentioned or defined the Nidana of Unmada. I will read again. Viruddha dushta ashuchi bhojanani prakharshanam deva gurudvijanam unmada hedu bhaya harsha purvo mano abhighado vishamasya cheshta. A first line mentioned about ahara, viruddha dushta ashuchi bhojanani. Second line about the behavioral problem, prakharshanam deva gurudvijanam. Third line mentions third stanza mentioned about emotional factors, unmada hedu bhaya harsha purvo. The last line mentioned about the abnormal activities, abnormal vihara, mano abhigado vishamascha cheshta. Vishama cheshta, abnormal activities can be considered as vihara. This is the very concise form of nidana in mentioned in Charaka Nidana. In Charaka Chikilsa is explained in Charaka Nidanasthana. That is what I explained in the previous slide. Ashtanga Sloka was taken from Ashtanga Hridaya, and I have given added few explanations from Charaka Nidana. And one more point is added. Taihi alpasatvasya mala pradushta. Alpasatvasya mala pradushta. Alpasattva, those who are having very weak mind, alpasatva, and mala pradushta, dosha dushti occur. That dosha dushti occur in a person who are already having a weak mind. Alpasatvasya mala pradushta. What will happen there? Buddhir nivasam hridayam pradushya. Buddhir nivasam hridayam. The, the hridaya, which is the sthana of buddhi, that is all intellectual functions. Buddhir nivasam hridayam pradushya. The vitiated dosha will very easily reach to the hridaya, which is the sthana of buddhi. Hridayam pradushya srodamsya adhishtaya manovahani pramohayantyashu narasya chedaha. Srodamsya adhishtaya manovahani. The srodamsya adhishtaya manovahani. Manovaha srodas, the adhishtana of manovaha srodas, and srodas is also getting vitiated. Pramohendi ashu narasya chedaha. Pramohendi ashu narasya chedaha. That afflict the mind of a person, and that will lead to the unmada. These are the signs and symptoms of unmada in general. He vibhramasattva pariplavaschya paryakula drishtiradhiradaschya abadhavakvam hridayam cha shunyam samanyam unmada gadasya lingam. This is mentioned in Charaka Samhita Chikilsa Sthana. Samodha cheda na sukham na dukkham na achara dharmo kuta eva shanti. Vindhatyabas abhasta smriti buddhi sapnyo brahmatyayam cheda itastatashta. This is a very short form, short explanation about the signs and symptoms of Unmada. Dhivibhrama Sattva Pariplavashta. Dhivibhrama is abnormality in decision making and intellectual functioning. Sattva Pariplavashta, abnormal mindset. Paryakula Drishti Adi Adhiratashta. Paryakula Drishti. Paryakula Drishti is the problem with the unsteadiness of eyes. Here it is mentioned as vision, unsteadiness of eyes. We can observe a person who is having Unmada. By looking into the eyes, we can understand whether he is normal or abnormal. Once, when I was in OPD, one of my students, she was sitting in the OPD, asked me, while patient complains of different some other complaints regarding related with the Vadavyadi, and I have written a medicine. I have prescribed a medicine related to Manas. So after the patient went, and my student asked, "Sir, whether you suspect any psychological imbalance in that patient?" I said yes. And then I asked, "Why you asked?" No, so by seeing your prescription, I asked the same. Uh, whether it is possible to understand by seeing a person whether he or she is mentally fit or not? Yes, definitely we can. But some exceptions will be there, but definitely we can understand a person by seeing whether he is normal or abnormal, especially looking into the eyes. That is Paryakula Drishti here mentioned. Abhattvaktam Hridayam Shunyam Samanyam Unmadagatasthilingam. Very important. Abhattvaktam, about incoherent speech and improper speech can also be included in Abhattvaktam. That is not to the proper situation. That is Abhattvaktam Hridayam Shunyam. That is very uh, shunyata of mind. That is no ideas, no thoughts, mute behavior. Likewise, can be considered under Hridayam Shunyam. These are the Samanya Lakshana mentioned in Unmada. Unmada is mentioned in Charagam Chikilsa Sthana. And we need to understand about before going to the different types of Unmada, we need to understand the Purva Rupa of Unmada, which is mentioned in Charagam Nidana, Charaka Samhita Nidana Sthana, very wonderfully explained Purva Rupa into two categories. One is Doshaja Unmada Purva Rupa, and the second one is Agantuja Unmada Purva Rupa. We can see the patient uh, by Purva Rupa itself. We can assume whether he is going to affect with Doshaja Unmada or Agantuja Unmada. Okay, Agantuja Unmada, before expressing in its full swing, some Purva Rupa will be exhibited by the patient. So, Purva Rupa mentioned in Charagam Nidanam, Shirasah Shunyada Chakshushorakulata Swanah Karnayoho Uchvasasya Adhikyam. Shirasah Shunyada, an emptiness of head will be there. Chakshushora will be there, as mentioned here also. Paryagula Drishti. And Swanakarnayoho, some sound in the ear. Uchvasasya Adhikyam. Anxious patients or anxious person or Udvigna Mana. Having the person having Udvigna Mana will have a fast respiratory rate. That is Uchvasasya Adhikyam. Asya Samsravanam. Ananya Abhilasha, Arojaga. Ananya Abhilasha and Arojaga are especially seen as the Purva Rupa of depression or Kabhajonmada. Avipaka Hridgraha. Avipaka will be there, indigestion will be there, Dhyana Ayasa Sammoha, Udvegascha Asthane. Udvegascha Asthane, the person's feeling stressful or tension for no reason or simple or silly reasons, that is Udvegascha Asthane. Satatam Lomaharsha, horripilation, Dvarascha Abhikshnam. Here you can take not only jvara, different kind of diseases, mild type of diseases very frequently. Unmatta chittatvam, abnormal mindset. Udarditvam is urthvakayacha vyadhi. Ardidagaranam cha vyadhi. Ardida, you can see some the facial expressions. What may be the facial expression in ardida? Similar way, some gestures will be there by the person, by the patient. That is mentioned here as a pura rupa. And swapneja bhishna darshanam Chalita Anavastida. That is, the person will feel instability in his dreams, and he will feel that he is uh, turned inside the uh, that oil wheel, and like a Chakradhi Rohanam, Vata Kundalika, in the turning or turning in the Vata Kundalika, cyclone or whirl of wind is mentioned here, and sinking in the whirlpool like that Nimanjanam. Those kind of fearful dreams will be observed or seen by the patient who is about to have Doshija Unmada. While it's different in case of Agantuja Unmada, Deva Go Brahmana Tapasvinam Himsa Ruchi Kopanatvam. Deva, Go, Brahmana, Tapasvinam. Deva, Go, Brahmana, Tapasvi, etc. are considered as the person we need to respect. So, towards those persons showing disrespect or angry or trying to attack them, those are considered as the Purva Rupa of Agantu Junmada. Himsa Ruchi, the liking to attack those persons who need to be respected, and Kopanatva, angry towards them. Nrishamsa Abhiprayada. Nrishamsa Abhiprayada means some likes towards the mischievous activities. Arati, that is dislike towards some activities or happiness. And Ojo Varna Chaya Bala Vapusham Upatapti. Patient will be having very less Oja, Varna, and Chaya. Complexion will be diminished in that person. Swapneja Devadipihi Abhidhartnamja. In dreams, the person will see or observe that the some there he or she is attacking or disrespecting or doing some activities against the god. Such dreams, if occur, it can be considered as the Purva Rupa of Unmada. We may think these are some myths or some concepts only, but it's not like that. We can see in patients also, those persons are having some abnormalities. We before diagnosing, before reaching to a proper disease, they may be expressing such symptoms, and they might have shared with their family. Then those family members or some doctors also will not take much care about that dreams or thoughts. Later, once they express a very complete or fulfilled Unmada Lakshana, then only the patients will be noticed and they are brought to psychiatrists and for treatment. So, Purvarupa is very evident. And many of these Purvarupa, even I have observed in my clinical practice, we can very clearly see such Purvarupa in the persons. If we get a person in this Purvarupa stage, as we know, it's very easy to treat. Once it is manifested, being a psychiatric disorder, it's very difficult to treat. And we will move on to the different types of Unmada. This are comes under Nidana, not in Chikitsa, but Ashtanga Hridaya, there is no mentioning about Unmada in Nidanasthana. In Charaka Samhita, Also, there are some explanation in Nidana Sthana, but in Chikitsa Sthana, there are again detailed explanation given about the different diseases and even specific Nidana for Vada, Pitta, Kapha are mentioned in Charaka Samhita Chikitsa Sthana. So that's why I have included all these dosha types and all parts from Nidana of the disease in this Chikitsa class. Vadika Unmada Lakshana, it is mentioned, this is from Ashtanga Hridaya. Charaka Nidana also mentioned, Charaka Chikitsa also mentioned about the Vadika Unmada. We'll see this reference from Ashtanga Hridaya Uttarasthana. Tatra Vadat Krishangada. A patient, the person will be very lean. Asthane Rodana Akrosha Hasita Smridana Nartanam Gita Vaditra Vaganga Viksheva Podananija. Asthane in improper time and situation, in an improper time and situation, the person will show Rodana Akrosha. Rodana is crying, Akrosha is shouting, Hasita Smridana smiling, laughing, dancing, Gita Vaditra Vaganga Viksheba Podananija. Gita Vaditra Vaganga. Different expressions of instruments will be shown. May not be instruments, but uh, they behave as they having instruments and they will work like that. Asamna Venu Veenadi Shabda Anukaranam Muhu. They mimic the sounds of some instruments. That is Asamna Venu Veenadi Shabda Anukaranam Muhu. Asyat Bhenagame Ajastra Madanam. Asyat Bhenagama is the salivation. Ajastra Madanam, very quickly, very fast movements. Bahubhashida, very talkative, not in the normal sense. We in psychiatry we called it as verbal diarrhea. That is continuous, non-stop talking. That is Bahubhashida. Don't don't understand that. Don't misunderstand that talkative person comes under this. Not like that. It is very different from talkative. Bahubhashida here in the sense very continuously non-stop talking will be there by Vadiga Unmada person. Sometimes we can see the persons talking for 15 to 30 minutes. If we allow, they will talk more than 1 hour also, very continuously uh, without any shortage of ideas. They will talk continuously without losing the flow, without breaking the flow. They can talk. That is Bahubhashida. Alankaro Analankare. Alankaro Analankare, one of the main feature in Vadigo and Mada, that is Analankara Dravya, those which are not used for cosmetic purpose and they use it for cosmetic purpose. That is chalk powder or mud is used as face powder. Likewise, some sticks or some ropes are used as ornament. Similar way, Alankaru, Analankare, Analankara Drivyas are used for Alankara. Ayanir Gamanodhyamam. Ayanir Gamanodhyamam. Ayana. Yana is not there. The vehicle is not there, but they will drive or ride the vehicle. That is Ayanir Gamanodhyamam. Gridhirabhyavahareshu tatlabheja avamanata. Gridhirabhyavahareshu. There is strong desire towards something and tatlabheja avamanata. Once it is received or once it is achieved, they will not value that. That is seen in Vatikunmada. And Utpindida Arunakshatvam Jirnam Channe Gadodbhava. Utpindida Arunakshatvam. Utpindidaksham and Arunaksham. The eyes are protruded and Arunaksham, red colored. This is seen in Vatikunmada Jirnam Channe Gadodbhava. Once the food is digested, the symptoms is aggravated. Symptoms will be aggravated once the food is digested. That is, once the person is hungry, the symptoms are increased. In short, whatever the causes which increase vata, which disturbed vata, those situations will aggravate or will cause aggravation of symptoms of Vadika Unmada. That is, in short, that is the meaning. In Charaka Samhita, Nidana some more extra points are mentioned. Karsya is mentioned here. Parushya is mentioned in Charaka Samhita Nidana. Vata upasya viparyasad anupasyatamcha. Those which are causing Vada vriddhi, that will increase the symptoms of Vatikonvada, and those factors which subsides or which reduces the Vada will contribute or will subside the symptoms of Vatikonvada. That is mentioned in Charaka Samhita Nidanasthana. In Susruta Samhita also, some symptoms like Purita Anga Sandhi. Purita Anga Sandhi is mentioned in Susruta Samhita. That is, tremors or tics are seen in seen in Vadika Unmada as per Susruta Samhita. Sitatura, desire for cold will be there in Vadika Unmada as per Susruta Samhita. These are the symptoms we can observe in a person with Vadika Unmada. Next is Pitta Unmada. It's very easy to understand. There is no difficulty in understanding the dosha dominance in Unmada person, if it is dosha Unmada or Nija Unmada. Pittat Santarjanam Krodho. Pittat Santarjanam Krodho Mushti Loshtadya Abhidrava. Tida Chaya Udagagamksha Nagnatvam Tida Varnada. Asatya Jwalana Jwala Taraka Deepa Darshanam. You can see very clear. Pitta Santarjanam will attack. Persons Pittaja Unmada will attack Krodho. Krodha is anger. Mushti Loštadya Abhidrava. Attack with the hand, stone, stick, etc. Mushti Loštadya Abhidrava. Whatever is available with them, they will attack with those objects. That is called as Mushti Loštadya Abhidrava. That is seen in Pittaja Unmada. Chida Chaya Udaka Akamksha. Chida Chaya Udaka Akamksha. Desire towards Chida, coldness. Desire towards Udaga, water. Chida Chaya, desire towards Chaya, that is shade. Those desire will be there in that person with Vaitiga Unmada. Another very important feature of Pittaja Unmada is Nagnatvam. Nagnatvam, nakedness, liking of being naked. Exhibitionism, etc., are seen in this persons with Pitta Unmada. They would like to show their body towards the public or others, and they're not at all bothered about their nudity, and they will show it to the public, and they will walk around the hospital, or they will walk around the uh, house, or even outside the house. That is seen in Pitta Unmada. Pita Varnada. Pita Varnada. Pitta vitiation will definitely cause Pita Varnada. Definitely, the yellowish discoloration can be seen in, definitely it will be seen in Pitta Junmada, either in body or conjunctiva or mucosa or whatever. Pitta Lakshana, Pita Varnada is Pitta Lakshana, Pitta Junmada Lakshana. Asatya Jwalana Jwala Taraka Deepa Darshanam. The person affected with Pitta Unmada will experience or visualize Taraka Deepa Darshanam. Jwala Taraka Deepa Darshanam. Jwala will be observed. The stars will be seen. The Deepa light will be seen, but they are not true. Without the presence of any light, any source of light, any Deepa or light or Taraka, the person will visualize. That is, visual hallucinations are seen in Pitta Janmada. Visual hallucinations, especially light and very glittering type of items or object will be seen by the person of Pittaja Janmada. In Charaka Samhita Nidanasthana, some more points are added. Amarshaha Krodha Samrambhascha Asthane. Amarsha, Krodha, etc. are similar kind of behavior. Samrambhascha Asthane. Some improper behavior, improperly to the situation they behave. Shastraloshta Kusha Kashta Mushtibhihi Abhihananam. That is same mentioned in Mushtiloshta Abhidra. Whatever the objects they receive, they get, they will attack with those objects. Another important point added in Charaga Nidana is Svesham Paresham Va Abhidramanam. Svesham Paresham Va Abhidramanam. Attack towards self, deliberate self-harming in modern psychiatry. Svesham Paresham Va, attacking towards others, that can be seen in Pitta Janmada as per Charagam Nidana. Color is also mentioned. Here in Ashtanga only Pita Varnada is mentioned, but in Charaka Samhita Nidana Sthana Tamra Harita Haridra Akshada. Tamra Harita Haridra Akshada. Tamra Varnam, Harita Varnam, and Haridra Varnam, green and yellowish color. Tamra Varnam and Harita Varna is green, Haridra Varna is yellowish. Tamra, Harita, Haridra Varna is mentioned. Only Pita Varna or Haridra Varna is mentioned in Ashtanga Hridaya. Two more added, that Tamra and Harita Varna. Here also Pitta Upasya, Viparyasad Upaseda. That is, whatever the activities, medicine or treatments which subside, which reduce the Pitta, that can reduce the symptoms of Pitta Unmada. Similar way mentioned in mentioned in Vadika Unmada. Whatever the factors aggravating or increasing Pitta will aggravate the symptoms of Unmada. That is mentioned in Charagam Nidana. Trid Sveda Daha Bahula. Trid Sveda and Daha. That is mentioned in Susrata Samhita Uttarasthana. Trid Sveda Daha Bahula. Bahubhuk. The person having Pitta Unmada will eat more. Bahubhuk. Vinidraha. Loss of sleep. Vinidraha. Loss of sleep is a symptom of Pitta Janmada mentioned by Susrata Samhita in Susrata Pitta Nidana. And Diva Nabhasi Paschidi Taragasya. In daytime also, the patient with Pitta Unmada will observe Taraga in the Nabhas. That is, stars are observed in the sky even during daytime. That is mentioned as hallucination. Previously, I mentioned as hallucination, visual hallucination, that is observed in Pittaja Unmada. Okay. Charagam Chikitsa gives some specific nidana, specific etiology for Pittaja Unmada. Ajirna Kadu Amla Vidahi Ahara. Ajirna Kadu Amla Vidahi Ahara. It's very known to us about as having vitiating to the Pitta dosha. That is seen in Charaka, that is explained in Charaka Nidana Sthana. Next, we move on to the Kabhaja Unmada. Kabhaja Unmada, Kabhad Arojaga Chardi, Alpahara Vakyata, Trikamata, Rahapriti, Lala Singhanaka Sruti, Baibhalsyam Sauja Vidvesho Nidra Swayadhuranane Unmado Balavan Ratro Bhukta Matreja Jayare. In Kabhaja Unmada, the symptoms mentioned as Arojaka, Chardi. Arojaka is anorexia, Chardi, nausea and vomiting, Alpahara Vakyada. Alpaharada and Alpa Vakyada. Alpahara is very less intake of food. That is the same thing we have seen in Vadika Unmada also. Kabhaja Unmada, or in a similar way, it's a moderate to severe type of depression can be correlated as Kabhaja Unmada, with the similar features are seen in Kabhaja Unmada. The appetite will be reduced and talk will be reduced. The person will sit alone. Uh, they will not interact with any others. They will not involve in any activities. This can be seen in Kabhaja Unmada. Another important feature seen in Kabhaja Unmada is Sri Kamada, increased sexual desires. Sri Kamada. Rahapridi. Rahapridi is very like to sit very lonely, or to be hidden, sit, hide in hidden places. Rahapridi. Lala Singhanaka Struti. Salivation will be there. Thick mucus salivation is Lala Singhanaka Struti. Baibhalsyam Shauja Vidvesham. Baibhalsyam Shauja Vidvesham. Bibhalsa Darshana will be there. Bibhalsa looks Bibhalsa Shauja Vidvesha. Unhygienic Nidra, excessive sleep. Day or night they will sleep. Excessive sleep will be there. Swayadhuranane, swelling in the face or edema in the face. Swayadhuranane. Unmado Balavan Ratro Bhukta Matrecha Jayade. Unmado Balavan Ratro. Kabhaja Unmada will show more symptoms, will be more or show very strong symptoms in the night, and Bhukta Matrecha Jayade, soon after eating. In Vadika Unmada, we have seen after getting digestion of food. In Kabhaja Unmada, we can see as soon after eating or taking the food. And Charaka Samhita also Sthanam Ekadeshe Toshni Bhavaha, loneliness and keeping silence. That is mentioned in Charagam Nidana Sthana. Alpasaha Chankramanam, very less in walking or roaming around. They will sit alone. Ananna Abhilasha Rahaskamada, already mentioned. Shukla Timida Malobadikta Akshatvam. Shukla Timida Malobadikta Akshatvam. Eyes will be whitish and Malobalipta. Malobalipta is very looks dirty. That is Malobadikta Akshatvam is seen in Kabhaja Unmada. Here also mentioned as Sleshma Upasaya Viparyasad Anupasayada. Whatever the symptoms, whatever the etiological factors which increase Kabha will increase the Kabhaja Unmada Lakshana also, and vice versa. That is mentioned in all type of Unmada we have seen. Chardi is mentioned as a symptom by Susruta Samhita. Chardi Agnisada Sadana Aruchi Kasayipto. A very different feature we can see is Kasayipto. Kasa is mentioned as one among the feature of Kabhaja Unmada. Chardi already we have seen in the sloka of Ashtangrade also. Agnisada Sadana Aruchi. Aruchi also seen. Kasa Ikto. Kasa is a specific feature. mentioned a special feature. It's not specific. A special feature mentioned by Susruta in Kabhaja Unmada. Alpakathanam, Alpabhuk, Ushna Sevi. Alpakathana, very less talkative. Alpakathanam, very less in explanation. Alpabhuk, very less in eating. Then Ushna Sevi, liking towards the heat climate or hot object. Nari Vivakta Priyada, that is, we have seen sexual desire will be more in Ekabhajunada. So next is Sannipada Unmada. Sannipada Unmada Sarva Ayadana Samsthana Sannipade Tadatmagam Unmadam Darunam Vidyat Tam Pishak Parivarjayet. All symptoms, if symptoms of all dosha seen, then it can be termed as Sannipada Unmada. If Sannipada, this kind of Unmada is very difficult to treat. That is why it is considered as Varja. Tam Pishak Parivarjayet. It is mentioned here as Parivarjayet. Charaka Chikitsa mention it as Atikhora. Atikhora. Viruddha Paishajya Vidhir Vivarjya. Viruddha Paishajya. That is, if you treat for Vada, Kapha will increase. And if you treat for Vada, sometimes Pitta may increase. Sometimes if you treat Kapha, Pitta and Vada will increase. So Viruddha Bheshajya is here. So very difficult to treat or difficult to cure. Next is Mano Dukkhaja Unmada or Chitta Gadaja Unmada. धनकान्तादिनाशेन दुस्सहेन अभिषङ्गवान् पाण्डुर्दीनो मुहुर्मुह्यन् हा हा इति परिदेवते रोदत्यकस्मात् म्रियते तद्गुणान् बहुमन्यते चोकक्लिष्टात्मना ध्यायन् जागरूको विचेष्टते. It is a peculiar type of Unmada. The previous three types we have seen the dosha dushti, the visheshna of dosha, and the symptoms similar to dosha dushti. But here we cannot specify the dosha involvement, but the unmada is caused due to the manodukha. Manodukhaja or chitta gadaja unmada. Manodukhaja unmada. Dhana kantadi nashena. The loss of dear ones and the loved ones. That dhana kanta, the kanta here is husband or wife, it can be spouse, but not only that dhana, spouse, kantadi nasena, here you can include dear ones and near ones. If their death or loss, dhana, dhana is wealth or any kind of physical or superficial pleasures if they lose,